There's been a lot of talk about Chinese President Xi Jinping, who traveled all the way to South Africa for the BRICS summit, but chose not to come to New Delhi for the G20. Was his absence disappointing for you? Do you think it was a missed opportunity for China at a time when their economy is going through a rather difficult phase?
I really don't believe I'm competent to comment on the President of China's attendance. Many leaders miss many meetings, and I really think we should leave it at that. I was very pleased in South Africa to observe President Xi and Prime Minister Modi having quite detailed discussion together. And I think that's good because we need to challenge this notion that India and China at loggerheads. They're very significant parts of the economy of the world. And it's important that we see them working together.
Can you tell us more about the interactions between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi in South Africa?
Unfortunately, I couldn't bring my ear close, but I did see them spending quite a longish time together on more than one occasion. And I think, that gave a great deal of positive feeling to the BRICS summit. Because as I say, these are extremely important countries. And the closer we in the South work together, and in particular the closer that the most powerful in the South are, the better it is to be a catalyst to the rest of us. So for me, these are two very powerful leaders, and I believe they must give an ethos to the community of the South that says we work in cooperation. And it is through cooperation that we advance.
China is Africa's biggest bilateral lender. It's now being called the lender of the first resort. $73 billion of debt in Africa is owed to China. Countries like Zambia are collapsing under Chinese debt. Is that a point of concern for South Africa? And are you making the same bet that landed other developing nations in trouble?
Well, Zambia is not collapsing. I think they had to make new arrangements through the IMF. I don't think the debt was solely China. There were other debtors. And China engaged, as the Zambian president said, I was in the room, very positively with them, Zambia, to assist them in arranging a new debt payment plan. So it seems they've had very good discussions and are now at a point where these matters are being resolved. I think there's been a popular attempt in the public media to create an impression that China owns the continent. And I think it's really wrong because there are many people, to whom money is owed by many different African countries. Many of them are in debt to the World Bank, to the IMF, to other international development finance institutions. But because there's this intention to present China as some form, of monster eating up the African continent, you get these,
You're not
stories.
concerned about Chinese debt?
Not with my country, no, because our debt tends to be local, much more than international. But I am worried about this story. I saw recently a challenge to the story that all the debt of Africa or the worst debt is with China. It's actually challenged by some economists. So I would like to see the media probing this issue much more than just accepting the popular notion.
We want to know about the chemistry that President Ramaphosa shares with Prime Minister Modi.
I think they have a lovely chemistry. We were so thrilled that Prime Minister came to the BRICS summit. And, a lot of our people want him to come back. So we have invited that he should come for an official visit to South Africa. We had some of our citizens, as you know, South Africa has one of the largest, if not the largest, Indian originating population on the African continent. And the citizens from Durban, a large city with many of our Indian compatriots, had traveled all the way to Johannesburg and stood outside the venue of the summit just to see Prime Minister Modi. So there's a great deal of interest in him, and we would like him to spend more time in South Africa.